Have freedom? Before I start sounding sus AF, I need to preface this with the fact that it's not an original idea. I borrowed it from the Harbinger interview podcast, which is about con artists, the occasional spy, mob hitmen, classified intelligence stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. Let's talk about feeling heard for a minute. More specifically, its effects on collaboration. Not feeling heard can break a lot of us good folks. And in that same vein, feeling heard can turn an adversarial relationship into a collaborative one. No joke, I've seen people go from hating each other to doing it in the shower. Can you imagine the HR meetings after that? This is our secret. It's how we know whether or not we're liked at the org. Being heard is being taken seriously and being given the opportunity to be taken seriously. Our responsibility, then, is giving that same opportunity to our teammates. That's the kicker. Another way to soliloquize would be by saying we're avoiding babysitting and that god-awful slippery slope fallacy. We're clinging to that environment of good communication and reliable feedback built on trust, respect, and humility. Hey humbo! We are investing in ourselves by facing, or in your case, learning to face, our relationships. Not that anyone's perfect. It's instinctive to want to compete with our teammates. It almost feels like it's human nature sometimes. But if we're going to be collaborating on something important, it's imperative that we set these feelings aside. These are the times that our competitive nature could be harming us. I have 2 ways to prevent that. These help me get through the times, and I'm confident about these. Number 1 is ask them how they are struggling. Number 2, ask them how they are doing. Maybe I should call the customs office and start doing these. I want better deals from those individuals. At Peter Thiel's talk at Stanford, Thiel makes the claim that there are 2 types of businesses in the world. Those that pretend to be in a monopoly in a small niche, and those that pretend to be in a highly competitive industry in a big niche. These types of businesses can also be used to represent the 2 types of teammates and the questions we need to ask them. It's a matter of self-perception, really. Do we want them to feel supported by us? To avoid the appeal to authority or red herring fallacy, I'm simply going to be comparing the similarities of what Thiel mentions to how I think we should be addressing the different levels of seniority or positions. Numero uno, how are they struggling? We always want to help people while they're struggling. It's a great reputation to have. A business that acts like a monopoly is struggling with competition. How are our teammates struggling, and how can we weave between the lines to provide generosity? For instance, you can get them a gift for their birthday, or take their advice and actually improve on the way you're corresponding with them. It's the law of reciprocity, and it's how we effectively communicate as autonomous adults, as opposed to uncollaborative, toxic, adversarial gamers. 2. How are they doing? Nobody gives a shit about polite conversations these days. Most of us would rather be asleep or getting arrested by police. Business that acts like it's in a highly competitive industry is in a monopoly. I perceive a teammate as being in a monopoly if she regularly exceeds expectations, gets front-loaded a bunch more work, and has the capacity for mentorship and maybe a keynote. I may not like it, but I find out how she's doing to give her the opportunity to detail some of her achievements, contributions, growth. In her words, this puts me at a tactically advantageous point to hear her out and listen to what she says. We can report back later when we've taken steps on the advice as well. So even though I don't like it, it's a cool thing to do. So what do you think so far?
And the other half was like, he's black, kill him!
Engineers that are in a monopoly are usually the ones that we most likely want to replicate. Sort of how a small company might want to replicate Google or Apple in some equity standard. More broadly, the The sequence of asking them how they're doing, followed by listening to their achievements and word choice, can give us a better perspective of what the org expects from an individual of their level of standing. Now imagine if you do this with several engineers at this seniority level. We're talking an intimate understanding of how the backbone of the org cooperates on matters of mutual concern. And then there's the added benefit of developing good relationships with your colleagues. Do we want these types of teammates to hear about our contributions as well? Yes. Do we want to have the necessary context to inspire, aspire, and initiate the desired reciprocity? Yes. I thought this was a cool topic. It's not about performance this time. It's about understanding the internal candidate. It's about demonstrating exemplary commitment to hearing them out and listening to their struggles. It's about being the anchorman in the field, being delightful, and giving them the opportunity to reciprocate.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it!